What up, YouTube? So I'm making this short video reviewing two cases that I have, the Corsair 5000D Airflow and the Hyte Y70. I'm going to be talking about the differences between both cases, that being price comparison, size, as well as show you a graph of the drastic differences between temperatures while idling and gaming loads. I have owned both cases since they came out, and if you want to know how they both hold up in 2025, keep watching this video. I'm going to be changing cases in this video, so be sure to like and subscribe to stay tuned for this channel's content. Let's get started. So the first thing I want to compare between these two beautiful cases is the size. Both cases are pretty tall for being mid-tower cases, but the Corsair 5000D Airflow stands taller at 22.7 inches, while the Hyte Y70 stands at 21.9 inches. It is a little shorter than the Corsair case, but what Corsair has in height, the Y70 has in width. The Hyte case is a dual chamber design, giving you almost the same aesthetic as the Lian Li O11 Evo. The Corsair 5000D Airflow gives you the classic rectangular shaped look and offers less restriction in terms of how the air circulates around the case. The 5000D offers great space for building, and it has somewhat comfortable cable management, but it offers limited space for peripherals like RGB hubs, power supply cables, etc. The 5000D offers side panel fans, up to 3 120mm fans, as well as front and top sides of the case, or 2 140mm fans on those same sides, as well as a 120mm or 140mm fan on the rear. Both cases have mesh around the fins, but I did predict when I first reviewed the Y70 a few months back, by the way, I'll have the video link in the description below, that because of the fins being too close to each other, the airflow was going to be restricted. You will see later on in this video that it turns out I was right about the restrictive airflow. The Y70 offers different fan sizes, which you can either do 2 140mm fans on the front, top, and rear sides, and 3 120mm fans on the front, top, bottom, and rear sides of the case. In terms of pricing, as of 2025, the 5000D Airflow stands at $180, while the Hyte Y70 still holds a higher price at $225. I paid about $40 more on the Corsair case and about $80 more on the Hyte case directly from the Hyte website when they both came out. The main reason to get the Hyte Y70, however, is the ability to have vertical GPU mounted on the go, since it offers a great bracket as well as a connector for PCI Express 4.0. The Corsair case offers the vertical mounting capabilities, but it does not offer connectors or brackets to make it possible. In terms of cooling solution, you can fit just about any CPU air cooler, but is restricted when it comes to liquid cooling up to 360mm radiator in both cases. Now that the specs are out of the way, let's go tear it down. It's hot as balls in this freaking garage. Now that the motherboard is disconnected from every way, I'm going to remove the motherboard off the case. now that the motherboard is out, I'm gonna switch it back to the Corsair 5000D. So I'm almost done transferring everything to the Corsair 5000D airflow, but it's taking me a little time. I went out, I had an emergency, so I didn't record the process of building it. But as you can see, it's almost done, and I'm gonna show you the final product once I get done. All right, so now that we have the build and the replacement of cases out of the way, I prepared a little graph showing you only CPU temperatures difference because GPU temperatures were pretty much the same. So in terms of gaming loads, the Corsair 5000D airflow did only up to 60 degrees Celsius, fluctuating between 60 to 65, while the Hyte Y70 gaming loads were 75 degrees Celsius. That's a drop of about 15 degrees from each case, using the same cooler as well. Mind you, I have a Lian Li Trinity Galahad, and I'm cooling down a 5900X, as you may know from other videos. But as you could see in Cinebench loads, they stay almost the same. Only difference is 3 degrees, but it does run cooler on the Corsair 5000D airflow as opposed to the Hyte Y70. By the way, using the same cooling solutions and the same fans. Now, in idle, this is where it gets a little interesting because both idles are pretty damn good. One being the Hyte Y70 at idle going 43 degrees Celsius, and the Corsair 5000D airflow just beating it by slightly to 35 degrees Celsius. So in terms of cooling, of CPU cooling, because GPU pretty much stayed the same because the ASUS ROG Strix 4090 has a very good cooling solution and it remains cool even at loads, with the changes between maybe 1 to 2 degrees, which wasn't much different from each case. So in terms of cooling capabilities, I give it to the Corsair 5000D airflow. But in terms of looks, I give it to the Hyte Y70. Now to wrap up the video, would I recommend the Hyte Y70 if you have a high-end system that requires a lot more cooling and a lot more airflow going through? No, I wouldn't, because I just tested and it just pretty much, the difference is night and day between the 5000D airflow and the Hyte Y70. I would highly recommend the Corsair 5000D airflow. And if you still have this case, just keep it for years to come because this is the champion of airflows. Like, the next one closest to the 5000D airflow is the 7000D from Corsair. So in terms of cooling, better airflow, better capabilities. Oh, there's one downside that I forgot to actually mention, is that the Hyte Y70 gets a lot less dirtier than the Corsair 5000D airflow, and that being that the Corsair 5000D airflow is a lot more open in terms of how the Corsair 5000D is built. Now the Hyte Y70, as I mentioned before, had a lot of air restrictions due to the fins being too tight to each other. And the mesh didn't help at all in getting the airflow that you need from the Hyte Y70. Both cases, they're expensive as hell. The 5000D is a lot less expensive, but you have to horizontally mount your GPU, and you have to use maybe a slack stick if you have a very big graphics card. But if you have a smaller graphics card, I don't see the problem. It's very comfortable to build on. And I personally like the Corsair 5000D airflow since I got it. And I'm pretty sure that I'm just going to remain with the Corsair 5000D airflow given the temperatures of my CPU. But maybe later on in the future, I might get another case and review it as well. So that's it for today, guys. I hope you enjoyed this video, and thanks for watching. Peace out.